I pray, dear Father God, that whatever is said and done be done to your glory and your honor, so that you will receive all of the praise. Your magnificence cannot be understated. Your bounteous blessings are most appreciated. And Father God, continue to spread your love, your mercy, and your care among us. Carry us and keep us in your love and grace. I ask these things in no other name than the name of your precious Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Yeah, you got me?
Thank you, Mr. Cartwright. We'll now have Mr. William Wiley Hilton to come up and sing the national anthem for us. And ladies and gentlemen, I would ask that you stand.
Good evening, everybody. I said good evening, everybody. So would you please stand and sing our national anthem? Lift up your head to the rising sun, Bahama land. March on to glory, your bright banners waving high. See how the world march your manner, your bearing. Pledge to excel through love and unity, pressing onward, march together, to a common love to go. Daily onward, though weather highs to eye and treasure so. Lift up your head to the rising sun, Bahama land. Tell the road you draw, lead them to your goal. March on, Bahama land. The national pledge. I pledge my allegiance to the flag and to the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, for which it stands, one people united in love and service. Thank you and amen. God bless you.
Quick technical question. Are we streaming now? Thank you. So we are going to also welcome a streaming audience from around the world, especially from Jamaica, where our dear Bahamian developer, Mr. Stephen Brown, app developer, has gone for personal reasons, unfortunately. So therefore, he will be giving his presentation of how the app functions via Zoom today, okay? So in the meantime, we must proceed with the program due to Prime Minister's schedule, so he will be joining us in a few minutes. Minister has gone downstairs to meet him. So please forgive the fact that they are not here at this time, but they are joining us, and they have a very tight schedule. So at this time, I would like to bring Ms. Denise Antonio to the podium to please come and give us her remarks. And I do hope that you will recognize what a momentous contribution this has been for the Bahamas from the United Nations for persons with disabilities. This is game-changing for us when you have a UN agency actually taking care of, in a development program, taking care of persons with disabilities. We love it. Ms. Antonio?
Good afternoon, everyone. Let me just recognize the Honorable Philip Davis, Prime Minister of the Bahamas, Honorable Obadiah Wolcombe, Minister of Social Services and Urban Development, and also the Leader of Government's Business in the House of Assembly, and to all the other ministers here and government officials, all protocol observed. Good afternoon to all of you. I'm very delighted to join you exactly 30 years and 1 day after the United Nations General Assembly proclaimed 3rd December as the International Day of Persons with Disabilities. This proclamation reflected our global commitment to advancing the dignity, rights, and well-being of persons with disabilities. This promise, made 30 years ago, is even more pressing today. With over 1 billion, listen, I said 1 billion people globally experiencing disabilities, of which 80% of them reside in our developing countries. These are the same countries like ours, navigating the impact of COVID-19, climate change, natural disasters, food insecurities, and even crime. In these times and in these humanitarian crises, persons with disabilities are often the hardest hit. Pervasive issues such as ableism, stigma, and discrimination, policies and legislation which do not enshrine the rights of the community, limited employment opportunities, limited access to social services, derails the equitable development of persons with disabilities. Ladies and gentlemen, disability inclusion is a development issue. It demands our continued attention and investment to realize our commitment to leave no one behind. Now imagine with me, if you will, a world that is inclusive for all, inclusive of persons with disabilities. Imagine how many Stephen Hawkings would be among us, transforming our understanding of the universe. Imagine how many Stephen Wonders, Blake Higgs, Aaron Browns, our accessibility ambassadors, Vashni Thompson and Michael Miller, shifting the landscape of music, arts, and sports. Access and utilization of digital technology is a means through which we can foster inclusion. And we saw that as a result of COVID, technology, for those countries that were more advanced in technology, it was more seamless in adjusting in terms of education and everything. So it is the gateway to realizing the theme of this year's International Day of Persons with Disabilities, which the theme is Transformative Solutions for Inclusive Development, the role of innovation in fueling an accessible and equitable world. Digital technology and innovation, ladies and gentlemen, is a great equalizer. This is why when UNDP got the opportunity, we could not help but support the government of the Bahamas and the people of the Bahamas in your mission to expand digital inclusion to marginalized groups. UNDP's Digital Access for All Bahamas project was specifically designed with the government to expand your efforts to ensure persons with disabilities are not left behind in our development efforts. With a small and modest investment, we were able to support the expansion of the Accessibility Bahamas mobile app and a public education program to increase awareness, downloads, and usage. I am particularly very pleased that the app offers groundbreaking features such as access to subsidized transportation, disaster alerts, job opportunities, and other special benefits. Now, I want to urge people with disabilities to please use the app to register with the National Commissions for Persons with Disabilities and to ensure you and your families benefit from this wide array of services. And let me just interject to say, if it's not working the way you think it should work, please speak out so that we can be able to support in making the necessary changes. Our Digital Access for All project is a modest start because there is so with and for persons with disabilities in the Bahamas. 2, to advancing gender equality and the empowerment of persons with disabilities in the Bahamas. To forging partnerships with governments and non-governmental organizations, civil society organizations, private sector, and foundations to identify challenges and potential solutions to reduce inequalities against persons with disabilities in the Bahamas. In the government of the Bahamas, we have found a worthy partner with a progressive vision that aligns with our own. Prime Minister and Minister, I wish to commend the government for increased efforts in recognizing and addressing the needs of persons with disabilities. The investment and policy direction to upgrade your technological infrastructure to meet citizens' needs, including the work of the National Commissions for Persons with Disabilities and its secretariat, is noble. It has been an honor and a privilege to partner with Minister Obadiah and the team from the National Commission in expanding your important work in the Bahamas. We look forward to a future built on a solid partnership with government, private sector, foundations, civil society, and communities, all working to ensure that one day we can say we have left no one behind. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Antonia. That was really, truly informative and inspirational. We are so glad to have you as a partner with us. I now would like to call upon another innovative program that we have adapted here in the Bahamas, something very new and something exciting for persons with disabilities. It actually affects a person with a disability who travels and a person with a disability who uses airports around the world. So without much further ado, I would like to ask Ms. Jan Knowles, Vice President of Marketing at NAD, to come up. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. With protocol having been established, I wish to just say it is such a pleasure to be here amongst each and every one of you. The fact that you are here certainly indicates that you care, and it is wonderful to see so many of you today. I stand here to represent the folks from the airport. I'm from Nassau Airport Development Company, where we have 250 employees, but the entire airport community is an ecosystem of over 4,000 people, and we call ourselves the LPIA team. We were approached about 6 months ago by the National Council for Persons with Disabilities. They came to us to meet with us to talk about how travel could be more accessible to persons with disabilities, and the collaboration between us and them has been amazing. We are humbled by the work of Nalani Bethel, who is the chairperson, and her team. It has been the most humbling experience, to the point where, as an airport, we have decided that access to travel will be our complete community focus. And certainly for an airport to find something that everyone can get behind, it is the absolute correct fit for us, and we are finding every day persons are jumping on board across that community of 4,000. And so today, well, on December the 1st, we launched a program called the Sunflower Lanyard Program. This program is now in the Linden International Airport, but it is in 180 airports around the world in 26 countries. And I brought the lanyard with me so that you can see. So while our airport is accessible to the physically disabled, you know, we have a new, very nice airport with all of the elevators and the bathrooms that really take care of the physically disabled. We realized that we needed to take this a step further. We launched this program so that persons with non-visible disabilities, like as my friend from UNDP said, 1 in 7 persons has a disability. And out of that number of persons, 1 in 7, 80% of those disabilities are non-visible. They are hidden. You can't tell. And so we have created this lanyard program where if you have a non-visible disability, whether it is a neurological disability, whether you are blind, whether you are deaf, someone looks at you, they cannot tell that there is a disability there. But this will be the indicator. When our team sees this, that you have a non-visible disability, you need a little bit more time. You need a little bit more time to just get through the airport and do as you need to do. We are making the lanyards available to anyone with a non-visible disability. Anyone who thinks they have a disability can get a lanyard and put it on and wear it when you travel. And we are going through training across the board in our airport so that when an airport employee sees this, they know this is a person who needs a little bit more time, because this is a person that has a right to be able to travel. And we, as an airport, have to make it so. So we launched a program 2 days ago. The training all of the agencies across the airport, I am so proud to say, have sent their persons to be trained, and this will be an ongoing training program until everyone knows that when they see this, this is the ability to be able to travel. Because, you know, all the rules and laws in the world, you know, you can have those, but at the end of the day, that human decency, that being able to recognize that, you know, Sam has a challenge, let me make it easier for him, let me take a little bit more time with him. That is what is important, and that is what we want to permeate throughout the airport. And when you leave our airport and go to another airport that has this, they will recognize it too. And then travel becomes more accessible for everyone. So we are committed to this. The lanyards are free of charge. We will make them available. You can simply reach out to the National Council, the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities. We've given them stacks and stacks of lanyards that you can simply request at no cost. If you're traveling and you need a lanyard, you can also write into an email address that we have. It's called sunflower@nas.bs. Give us your travel details, and we will have a lanyard at the check-in counter for your airline for you to collect it when you arrive at the airport, and you can travel and travel easier. So that's what we're trying to do, simply make travel easier for everyone. So we're grateful to be here, certainly grateful now that this will be a part of the app to be able to request a lanyard, and just looking forward to making that accessible travel to everyone. So thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Prime Minister of the Bahamas. Please be seated. I will now call upon the Erin Gilmore School for the Blind for their performance. Are they here? The choir is ready, but their musician is on his way, so we shall hear them soon. In the meantime, I would like to call upon the Honorable Obadiah Wishcombe, Minister of Social Services and Urban Development, to come and introduce our dear Prime Minister. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sanini. And let me just congratulate you and your team for the incredible work you're doing in the Disabled Commission. Thank you so very much. It is so good to see my former colleague, Melanie Griffin. Please, let's hear it for Melanie Griffin. Also, former Minister Frankie Campbell is here. Please, Frankie. So good to see both of you here joining in a collective effort as we seek to advance the disabled and the disabled community and the cause for them too to be included in our community more than ever before. Thank you very much for your work that you did. I'm just the third carrier in this race. You know, it's a baton. It's my time to carry the baton. And I thank you for the wonderful legs that both of you have run. Thank you also very much. Permanent secretaries. I see two permanent secretaries here. The sitting permanent secretary and my former permanent secretary. It's good to have you, ma'am. It's always good. Many don't understand the work of a permanent secretary. Without you, ministries don't work. And you're fundamental to what we do. You're fundamental to ensuring that there's that linkage between the vision of a country and the administration of a country. So thank you so very much for the work you do. Prime Minister, we're very pleased to have with us today representatives from the United Nations. They've come in to be a part of our program and to help us advance all that you've asked us to do as Prime Minister. Let us welcome the United Nations representative here and her team. Please stand to be welcomed formally by us. Thank you all so very much. Prime Minister, earlier today we attended a wonderful church service at Judea, Melanie Griffin's church. And we were reminded in Exodus that when Moses was called upon, he told the good Lord that I don't speak well, I'm not eloquent, I have broken speech. And the good Lord reminded him that he is the maker of all creations, including those who are blind, those who are deaf, all a part of the children of God. It is, I think, a reminder, Prime Minister, that we're all equal. We're all children of the Father. And all of us have different gifts, different talents. And the use of our gifts and talent make a difference. It is, as your mantra is, no one is to be left behind. And that message to us in our ministry we've taken so very seriously. Because every single day we hear the stories, we see the pictures, we understand the taboo that's been associated with the disabled. You see where families had difficulties, where children were not given the exposure, where young people with talent did not want to stand on the stage to demonstrate their gifts and talents. I'm so very pleased as you look around this room today to see this room with such a crowd. My very first event with the Social Services Department, we did not have as many. But I'm so very pleased that you all have come out because yes, inclusion is what we demand. Inclusion is what we will have. The theme that they've chosen for this week, United We Stand, Together We Can. United as a people, but together collectively to lift our brothers and sisters, to give all an opportunity. As we look around the world, we see so many in the world and the global community that now stands at 8 billion. You look around the world, we see others with difficulties and others with disability, only to be discovered that they are so able and so accomplished, have made so much of whatever they had and have made a difference in our global community. In our country, we too will be saying, yes, we can. Yes, we can, and yes, we will, Prime Minister. because of your mandate, because of your mantra. We will make a difference and we will cause all, because it's something you strongly believe in, and those of us who work with you fully understand that you're proud of your history, you're proud of your legacy, you're proud of your journey to move from Cat Island and move from night school and move into the highest office in this country. You stand as one of the examples of how we can and what we can be. And that is an incredible story that we should be celebrating, because every young person in this room, every disabled person in this place must appreciate that notwithstanding where you are today, this does not speak of your tomorrow. And so, Prime Minister, thank you so much for coming today. We invite you now to stand and welcome the Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, the Honorable Philip Grave Davis.
Please be seated. Good afternoon to everyone. I just wish to acknowledge the protocol that has been established and let's recognize my former colleague, Melanie Griffin, who was the trailblazer in this aspect of our initiatives to ensure that the Disability Act was passed during our term. When you were the Minister of Social Services. Of course, a former parliamentary colleague, 40. It's good to see you. That's the Honorable Frankie Campbell. We just know each other as 40. And to all of you here present, and it's indeed a pleasure to see the concern that we all have on this issue of disability and the way persons with disabilities are treated. It is a matter for me because I suspect that each of us would have a family member that has some form of disability, and we tend to push it under the rug too often. The time has come for us to embrace it, expose it, and acknowledge that as we were reminded by Minister Wilscombe, that we are all God's creatures that deserve to be included in all that we have. And that as we admonish with our talents, there's no one without a talent, regardless of their limitations. There is some talent in each of us, and we ought not to allow those who have the talent to bury it, particularly if we have that ability and skill to draw that talent out of that person. That's part of our duty too, because it's part of our talent. Our talent may be to help someone identify what their talent is and be able to exploit and use that talent. And so that is the balancing act that we all ascribe and embraced. I wish to say that it's indeed a pleasure for me to be here at this AcesAbilityBahamas launch with you, the community of persons with disabilities, along with my colleague ministers, government officials, and representatives from the United Nations Development Program. Welcome. And of course, the disability NGOs here present. I'm standing here in awe of what has been achieved in unity and collective strength, and what I have witnessed this week since the beginning of Disability Awareness Week, whose theme, United We Stand, Together We Can, is demonstrated here in all its fullness. It is amazing that we can achieve together as a nation to take care of the less fortunate in our society, enabling them to live their best lives, no matter the circumstances, and to become as productive as possible, despite any physical or mental disability. This collective effort, involving the UNDP as well as local NGOs, corporate Bahamas, and the government through the National Commission, is a real and tangible commitment by the Bahamas to this special community. My government is all about progress, and this week, as Disability Awareness Week kicked off, we are showing that we are serious about our commitment to persons with disabilities. This week began with ratification of the ILO Convention 159 to establish the right for persons with disabilities to access vocational, rehabilitation, and employment opportunities. Even though our laws have already enshrined such rights, the signing of this convention is also demonstrating to the international community that we are indeed committed to improving this quality of life for persons with disabilities. Skills training and job access are the key to achieving a pathway to independence. As responsible and concerned citizens, this is what we must each focus on, enabling whatever skill there is to develop it and positively impact that person's life. I'm asking corporate Bahamas to join the government in recognizing the potential in persons with disabilities and providing employment opportunities that may never have been considered before. I want to take this opportunity also to commend Nassau Airport Development for its Sunflower Lanyard program for persons with disabilities, as this sensitizes those who work at the airport, especially those on the front line that deal directly with passengers, that a particular person may need extra time and assistance when traveling and going through the formalities such as check-in or security or immigration. Lyndon Pinling International Airport has joined 26 countries and 180 airports in the implementation of this program. I say congratulations on this initiative. Again, progress in the right direction. Yesterday, December 3rd, the globally observed International Day of Persons with Disabilities gave visibility to the community in a motorcade and Windsor Park rally and concert. And I understand that the chosen ones, Jonkono Group, will be out on Bay Street for Jonkono. And Minister, we have to ensure that they get some of that seed money to ensure that they're able to prepare themselves properly for the parade. Inclusion and accessibility to every aspect of life enjoyed by those without disability will equalize the playing field for those who live with a disability. And that is what we strive to achieve with the AcesAbilityBahamas app, developed by Bahamian Stephen Brown, especially for our community of persons with disabilities, with one-touch access to emergency services, NEMA alerts, and important news and information, as well as a sign language interpreter. It is a user-friendly and will enable use by those who are blind or deaf as well. And this is in keeping with the theme for the International Day of the Disabled, Transformative Solutions for Inclusive Development. I pause at this time to thank the UNDP for seeing the potential of this app and for partially funding the enhancement to the app as a willing international partner. It is not only the government that is tasked with the enabling persons with disabilities, but each and every one of us is so tasked. We are admonished to be our brother's keeper and to lend a helping hand. And in this regard, I wish to recognize the contributions of the many NGOs that are represented here that serve this community. I also recognize the partnership with Alive, whose commitment to the community is well known, and now again, the commitment to have AcesAbilityBahamas app as one of those that are standard with their phones. My sincere appreciation to Alive and its corporate citizenry. My government has embarked on our aggressive agenda to equalize the playing field for persons with disabilities and is taking measures to focus on the rights that were given to PWDs as part of the Persons with Disabilities Equal Opportunities Act of 2014. We are witnessing inclusion. We are witnessing accessibility in pragmatic and demonstrable ways like never before. This is indeed progress. Our 52-week employment program includes PWDs. This is a groundbreaking initiative, as some 50 have been hired in the private and public sectors to date. I wish to commend Alive again for offering job options for those with disabilities, as well as on-the-job training. Our Department of Labor will also enable job listings in a new app so that persons with disabilities may learn about job vacancies and apply in accordance with their skills. A reminder that the current law states that for every 100 employees, that organization ought to have at least one person with a disability. This is an affirmative action initiative to ensure that PWDs are included, and this is progress indeed. Our Health and Wellness Ministry has spearheaded the new mental health bill, which also seeks to give equal access to appropriate health care for those who suffer from mental illness, and this too is progress. A key factor in accessibility is affordable transportation to enable persons with disabilities to get to healthcare appointments, work, school, job interviews, and the like. This app will be a booking mechanism for a subsidized transportation system for persons with disabilities that the government is currently working on. The technology is in place, and we are putting service delivery in place for the provision of such transportation options. Again, progress indeed. Of course, financial resources to achieve these goals are paramount. So we are setting up a national development fund for PWDs. With the specific aim of enabling and developing PWDs with skills towards independence, to fund the planned multipurpose day center for persons aging out of the school system, a project that we began some time ago, one that we hope to see completed in this administration. Minister Griffin, under stewardship, had carried to where plans had been drawn, land had been identified, and contractor was the next step to get it done. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. Minister Wilscombe indicates it will happen for this administration. In short, with inclusion as a foremost goal, we are attempting to equalize the opportunities for persons with disabilities throughout the length and breadth of the Bahamas in order for them to be recognized as having the same access to services as those who are without disabilities, the same access to housing and employment as the rest of the population, and the same access to social and cultural life in the Bahamas. We are creating a pathway to independence for those living with a disability, restoring society's acceptance of those who may be a little different, but who are still capable of contributing to our country with dignity and pride. I take great pleasure in launching the Accessibility Bahamas app and to congratulate you all on your involvement with the community of persons with disabilities in our beloved Bahamas. I thank you, Your Excellency.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached that point and we wish to say thank you to our Honorable Prime Minister for being here with us. We truly appreciate that you have a very busy schedule and we appreciate your presence amongst us. We would now like to give you a demonstration of how the app functions. Stefan Brown is a Bahamian developer, app developer. He has been working with us closely at the National Commission to put in the features that we wanted enhanced. So I'll hand it over to him to do the demonstration.
Everybody, good afternoon. With protocol having already been established, I wish to say good afternoon to the Right Honorable Philip Brave Davis, the Honorable Obadiah Wilshcombe, other noted dignitaries, guests, and members of the attending audience. Sorry, there appears to be a slight delay, so I'm just catching up. My name is C. Stephen Brown, CEO of CSB Tech Emporium, and it is my honor to present the Accessibility Bahamas mobile app to you all. As you've seen, CSB, sorry, goodness. Sorry, can you see my screen? Can someone from the technical team please prompt me if they can see my screen? Okay, yes, I can see it. So, Accessibility Bahamas, developed by CSB Tech Emporium, owned by the Ministry of Social Services and Urban Development and the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities Bahamas, and upgraded in collaboration with the United Nations Development Program Jamaica, which is housed in Jamaica. So, what have we created? Accessibility Bahamas mobile app and a Persons with Disabilities database. The Accessibility Bahamas app has been developed with persons with disabilities in mind so that we can provide our people with access to various accessibility-friendly features. What does this mean? Using technology, we are now able to provide our people with access to items such as bus routes, the ability to request for an interpreter, the ability to request support from the NCPD, and so much more. So I'll go ahead and provide you with some information now on how this application works. So, who can use the app? Simply, it is accessibility for everyone. But, though it was designed with persons with disabilities in mind, it is also accessible for persons without disabilities. The app was designed with a primary focus for what's called accessibility, hence the play on word access and ability, because we are now providing the ability for persons who require accessibility to access functions that was previously unavailable. As such, this then means that even those who are blind and visually impaired are able to use the app. Now, you may be wondering, how does such an application work for persons without disabilities? There are certain functions in the application, such as emergency contacts and emergency push notifications, which allow persons without disabilities to actively access the functions that would have been previously designated for persons with disabilities as well. So, as I mentioned earlier, accessibility-friendly features. That is our focus for the Accessibility Bahamas application. And after signing up, once you have downloaded the application, be sure to register yourself with the NCPD using the NCPD registration form to unlock all of the app's features, as persons with disabilities must be verified by the NCPD to access functions such as subsidized transportation, or as I should say, partially subsidized transportation. So, two of the main functions are trending news, where the NCPD will provide curated news articles about persons with disabilities, both locally and internationally, for your reading pleasure. Additionally, you are able to contact the NCPD and file complaints using built-in forms to contact the NCPD to submit queries, comments, or file complaints. Additionally, we have access to directories such as the government directories, NGO directories, and Person with Disability Act compliant business directories. You also have access to emergency push notifications, where you are able to receive push notifications from the NCPD, NEMA, and other NGOs who have access to the system during natural disasters and other emergencies. An amazing feature, which is the request an interpreter function, allows you to book an interpreter for your upcoming events, appointments, and more, who is specialized in ASL or American Sign Language. Emergency contacts. Have you ever had the painstaking experience of having to try and find a phone book or look on a website for a phone number that you just can't find right away? for an emergency contact such as the hospital, the police, or otherwise? Well, no more. You are now able to access predefined emergency contacts using call and WhatsApp functions for whichever is available with a single touch of a button. Fifthly, bus routes. How often have you gone on a bus and gotten lost while attempting to get to your destination? Well, never get lost again while catching the bus, not in Nassau. You are now able to quickly access over 40 bus routes within the application, which was all taken from the Department of Road Traffic. And sixthly, as I would have mentioned a few minutes ago, you are able to request transportation if you are a person with a disability. Through the application, in a similar function to how Uber works in the United States and elsewhere, you are able to submit a request for subsidized transportation to and from your destinations. So, I encourage you to be a part of the newest wave of technology in the Bahamas. As I mentioned earlier, this application provides services for the deaf and hard of hearing through the request and interpreter function, allowing you to quickly request assistance wherever you may be going, to whatever appointment you may need to attend. It is accessible to the blind and visually impaired through the use of technologies such as text-to-speech and screen readers, which allow you to easily and independently use the application. And lastly, it is available on Android and iOS. No matter which smartphone you own, the upgraded version of Accessibility Bahamas is available for download today. So, I wish to encourage you, stay in touch with CSB Tech and join us on our journey as we provide new technologies and accessible functions for everyone in the Bahamas through the NCPD in collaboration with the UNDP, and we are so happy to have been given the opportunity to provide such a service to our people in the Bahamas. I wish to end my presentation by doing a short demonstration of the app in real time by live streaming from my phone. So give me one moment, please. Okay. So this is the application. As you enter the application, you are presented with the trending news screen, allowing you to see curated news, as I mentioned earlier, all within the app, provided by the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities. You're able to read your articles, share them to your various contacts via social media, WhatsApp, and otherwise, and also bookmark your articles for future reading should you be on the go. Additionally, you are able to view the push notifications received from the various parties and the NGOs, the NCPD, NEMA, etc. So I'll quickly log in using my Google account. And as you can see, you can now access all functions within the application. Notifications, the NGO directory and other directories. You're able to see information about the various listings, name, description, location, phone number, and operating hours, as well as links to their social media platforms. Additionally, you are able to contact the NCPD Secretariat by leaving your name, email address, phone number, and a description of your request, comment, or question. You're able to request an interpreter, again by leaving your name, email address, selecting your preferred event type, job interview, doctor's appointment, meeting, other, whatever fits your needs, your preferred date, the event time, the event's location, and further information about the event. Additionally, I'd like to mention that persons that are deaf or hard of hearing will never incur a fee. Fees will be paid by the companies or businesses requesting an interpreter for the appointment or otherwise. Additionally, for persons with disabilities, you are able to request transportation bookings. From here, you are able to leave your name, email address, phone number, as well as identify your pickup date, pickup time, if a caregiver will be accompanying you, where you are going, and if you need a ride back to your previous destination, or your previous location, sorry, or a new destination. You are also able to access interactive bus routes. So you are now able to see all 40 plus bus routes available in New Providence. And we hope to add bus routes in other islands as available. And by simply expanding the bus route, you are now able to see where you can potentially be picked up for each route by each bus. So for example, you're able to see Engliston bus route number 1. East Hill Street is the starting point, Bay Street is the ending destination. And then the route restarts. So now you no longer have to get lost or be confused as to which bus route you need to catch. You are also able to quickly access emergency contacts. And by simply pressing the call button, you're able to select your preferred phone application, and it pre-populates your phone app with the relevant details from the app itself. So you no longer have to question, do I have the right number? Am I contacting the right organization? And as I mentioned earlier, you're able to see your bookmarks of trending news articles you would have saved. And lastly, you are able to file a complaint in the application, identifying who you may wish to complain about and for what reason you are submitting your complaint. Additionally, there's information about the commission. There's information about the Persons with Disabilities Act, all accessible also from the NCPD's website. But now you have everything in one central location. So as I mentioned, once you complete your NCPD registration form, you are able to access all functions within the application, as you will now be verified as a person with disabilities or otherwise, and you now have access to the various items that I would have listed off from the menu at your leisure and pleasure. So I thank you for allowing me the opportunity to present the Accessibility Bahamas mobile application, and I hope that it monumentally improves the access of technology for persons throughout the Bahamas, both with and without disabilities. Thank you. Please let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you, Stefan. Great job. We Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the departure of the Prime Minister. Thank you. Please be seated. This brings our program to an end. We want to thank everybody who has participated to make this a wonderful afternoon. And we want to especially thank the app developer and everyone involved in that process. We want to thank you all for coming, but now we want to feed you. We want to be able, the head table will be served, and I will ask that table 2 and table 15 go out to the buffet line. Thank you.